Plants have long been seen as passive organisms that merely absorb nutrients from the soil and sunlight, growing silently without much interaction. But in recent years, science has begun to reveal a fascinating and intricate web of communication among plants. Plants, it turns out, are far from solitary. They communicate with one another, with other species, and even with animals, using a variety of methods that are both astonishing and sophisticated. Their forms of communication are not audible to the human ear, nor are they visible in the ways we typically imagine communication between living creatures. But these subtle forms of interaction are no less important, and they play crucial roles in survival, reproduction, and thriving in the often competitive environment of humanity. One of the most well-known methods of plant communication is through the chemical signals they send out. Plants have evolved to release volatile organic compounds, VOCs, into the air to communicate with other plants around them. For instance, when a plant is under attack by herbivores, it may emit specific VOCs that signal nearby plants of the threat. These signals can trigger defensive responses in neighboring plants, such as the production of chemicals that deter herbivores or attract predators that will consume the attacking insects. For example, when a tree is attacked by caterpillars, it can release a particular VOC that alerts other trees in the vicinity to prepare their defenses. This type of communication is a survival mechanism that helps plants protect themselves collectively. In addition to airborne signals, plants also communicate through the soil. The underground network of roots is more active than it appears, with plants interacting through a hidden communication system. One of the most remarkable discoveries in this area is the role of mycorrhizal fungi that form symbiotic relationships with plant roots. These fungi create a network, sometimes referred to as the wood wide web, that connects plants to each other. Through this fungal network, plants can exchange nutrients, share resources, and even send warning signals about environmental stressors such as droughts or pests. Plants can talk to each other by sending chemical signals through this fungal network, enabling them to respond to changes in their environment much more quickly than they could on their own. Plants are also known to engage in a form of allelopathy, which is another method of communication. Through allelopathy, certain plants release chemicals into the environment that inhibit the growth of competing plants nearby. This is especially useful in competitive ecosystems where plants compete for light, water, and soil nutrients. For example, black walnut trees release a toxin from their roots and leaves that can prevent other plants from growing around them. While this may seem like a solitary survival strategy, it is also a form of communication, ensuring that the tree can grow without the interference of other plants. Interestingly, plants also communicate with animals, particularly through their flowers. Flowers have evolved brilliant methods to attract pollinators, such as bees, butterflies, and birds. Through color, scent, and shape, plants communicate directly with these creatures, offering nectar in exchange for pollination. The process of pollination is a type of dialogue between plants and their pollinators, where the plants reward their pollinators for the vital service of spreading pollen, and in return, the plants ensure their own reproductive success. There are even cases where plants have been observed to communicate with other organisms for mutual benefit. In the case of acacia trees in Africa, these trees rely on a specific species of ant to protect them from herbivores. The acacia trees produce nectar that feeds the ants, while the ants, in turn, defend the trees by attacking herbivores that try to eat the leaves. In some cases, the trees can even warn their ant protectors of a threat by releasing a specific chemical signal when herbivores approach, signaling the ants to prepare for battle. This mutualistic communication is a fascinating example of plants and animals working together for survival. Another intriguing example of plant communication is the ability of some plants to adapt to their environment in response to signals from their surroundings. Mimosa pudica, commonly known as the sensitive plant, is known for its rapid response to physical touch. When touched, the plant folds its leaves in a defense mechanism that might deter herbivores. However, this plant can also remember previous interactions. Research has shown that mimosa plants can reduce their defensive responses to repeated, harmless stimuli, like being brushed with a finger. This ability to learn and adapt is a form of memory-based communication within the plant itself, allowing it to conserve energy for more serious threats. Furthermore, there is evidence suggesting that plants may have a rudimentary form of decision-making. Recent studies have shown that plants can decide where to send their resources based on environmental cues and competition. For example, a plant may decide to send more resources to a branch that is growing toward a light source, or a root might grow deeper into the soil in search of water. These decisions, while not conscious in the way animals or humans make decisions, reflect a level of responsiveness to the environment that is not simply passive. In the broader context of ecological interactions, plant communication plays a crucial role in maintaining biodiversity and ecosystem balance. The ways in which plants coordinate their growth, defend against threats, and share resources can significantly influence the health of entire ecosystems. These processes are often invisible to us, but they are vital for sustaining life on Earth. In conclusion, plants are not solitary organisms, but rather highly interconnected beings that communicate in a variety of surprising and sophisticated ways. Whether through chemical signals, underground networks, or interactions with other species, plants are constantly exchanging information that helps them survive and thrive in the complex web of life. The more we learn about these hidden forms of communication, the more we realize that the natural world is full of intricate and interconnected systems that are far more complex than we ever imagined. Plants are not just passive recipients of their environment, but active participants in a living, breathing network of communication that stretches across the Earth.